On a distant planet, far away from the stars humans knew, lived a young alien girl named Nira. She was small and quiet, with soft skin that shone faintly under the dim sunlight of her world. But Nira had a secret sadness. She had never seen colors. To her, everything was gray. The grass felt like stone, the flowers looked like nothing special, and the sky was always a pale, dull shade. She had never understood why other children laughed at bright flowers or the golden light of the sun. Nira's parents were kind, but they could not explain what she was missing. "You will see someday," they often said, smiling gently, but Nira did not understand. Every day, she wandered near the river that flowed through their village, watching the other children play. They ran through meadows, pointing at red berries, blue rivers, and green trees. Nira wanted to join them, but she felt left out. The colors they talked about were invisible to her eyes. She often touched the leaves and petals, trying to feel the differences with her hands. But it was never the same. One morning, the village was quiet. Nira sat alone by the riverbank, her legs tucked under her. She stared at a small flower that she had seen 100 times before. It was gray to her eyes, but she wondered if it had some hidden beauty she could not see. She pressed her fingertips gently on the petals and whispered to herself, "I wish I could see you like the others do." That day, something unusual happened. A human named Leo arrived in the village. He was tall and gentle, with curious eyes that seemed to notice everything. He walked slowly, looking at the strange plants, the small houses, and the alien villagers. Nira saw him from a distance and watched quietly. Humans were rare on her planet, and she had never seen one before. Leo noticed her sitting alone. He knelt down a few steps away and smiled. "Hello," he said softly. "Why are you sitting here by yourself?" Nira looked at him, unsure if she should answer. Finally, she said, "I cannot see the colors. I do not understand the flowers or the sky." Leo was surprised. He had read about vision differences among species, but he had never met someone who had never seen colors at all. "You mean your world is gray?" he asked. Nira nodded slowly, a small frown on her face. "Yes, gray is everything." Leo thought for a moment. He had studied human technology for many years, and he remembered a device that could help eyes see beyond their normal limits. "I think I can help you," he said, his voice full of hope. Nira tilted her head, curious and cautious. "Can you really?" she asked quietly. Leo smiled warmly. "I will try. You will see colors soon, but you need to trust me." Nira's eyes widened. She had never hoped for something so much before. A small flicker of excitement filled her chest, though she was also afraid it might not work. For the next few days, Leo stayed in the village, observing Nira and learning about her eyes. He measured the way light touched her pupils, drew careful sketches, and explained to her what each color meant in human language. "Red is like the warmth of the sun," he said one morning. "Blue is calm, like the river. Green is life, like the trees." Nira listened carefully, trying to imagine the colors in her mind. She closed her eyes and pictured warmth, calm, and life, but it was still gray to her mind. Leo noticed her struggle and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "It is okay," he said softly. "You will understand when the time comes. Be patient. Soon, you will see the colors yourself." Every evening, Nira walked to the river and practiced imagining the colors. She wanted to believe in them, even if she could not see them yet. The other children watched her, whispering about the human and the girl who had never seen colors. Some were curious, some were skeptical, but Nira did not care. She only wanted to see the world in the way Leo described. On the last night, before Leo said he was ready, Nira sat by the river, the stars reflecting in the water. She took a deep breath and whispered to herself, "I want to see the world. I want to know its beauty. Her heart beat fast with hope, and for the first time, she felt that her life might change forever. The next morning, Mira woke up feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. She could hear the birds singing near the river, but she wondered if she would ever see their bright feathers. Leo was already outside, arranging his tools and small machines carefully on a wooden table. Sparks of curiosity shone in his eyes as he looked at the parts he had brought from Earth. Mira walked slowly toward him. "Are you ready?" she asked. Leo smiled. "I think we are close. Today, we will try to make something special for you. Something that might let you see the world in a new way." Mira's heart raced. She had dreamed about this moment for years. Even if she did not know it, Leo explained his plan. "I want to make glasses for your eyes. They are not ordinary glasses. They will help you see colors that your eyes have never seen before. It will take time and patience, but I believe it can work." Mira listened carefully, nodding. She did not understand all the details, but the hope in Leo's voice made her trust him. For the next few hours, Mira watched as Leo worked. He used small wires, thin lenses, and shiny parts that glimmered in the sunlight. He measured distances carefully, adjusted angles, and wrote numbers on small pieces of paper. The villagers came closer, curious but quiet. They had never seen a human make something so strange and delicate. Some whispered, asking if it would really work. Mira could not take her eyes off the project. She asked many questions. "What is this part for?" she asked, pointing at a small round lens. Leo smiled and explained patiently. "This lens will help focus the light so your eyes can see the colors. It is very delicate. I have to make it perfect for you." Mira nodded. She wanted to understand everything, even if it was complicated. As the sun moved across the sky, Leo kept working. Mira brought him water and small fruits from the village. He thanked her, but he did not stop. The human was determined. Finally, in the late afternoon, he held up a pair of thin glasses, wires neatly arranged and small lenses shining softly. "They are ready," he said, his voice full of hope. Mira took a deep breath, her hands trembling slightly. "Are you sure this will work?" she asked quietly. Leo nodded. "I am not certain, but I have tried everything I know. I believe you will see something beautiful." Mira felt a small shiver of fear and excitement. She had never seen anything but gray, and now she was about to see something new for the first time. She slowly put the glasses on her face. The world did not change immediately. Gray still surrounded her. Her heart sank for a moment. She looked at Leo, feeling disappointment. I still see gray," she said softly. Leo's voice was calm and encouraging. "Be patient, Mira. Focus on one thing. Look closely at the flower near the river." Mira turned her eyes toward the small blossom. At first, it looked gray like always, but she tried to trust Leo. She concentrated. Slowly, a faint red glow appeared on the petals. Her eyes widened and her mouth fell open in surprise. "Is it red?" she whispered. The glow grew a little brighter. Mira blinked again and again, unable to believe what she was seeing. She reached out and touched the petals, marveling at the color. Red was warm and bright, different from anything she had felt before. Leo watched her carefully. "Yes, Mira, that is red. You are seeing it now." Tears began to fill her eyes. She had never imagined that the world could feel this alive. She looked at the grass, the trees, and even the water. Faint hints of green, blue, and yellow began to shimmer before her eyes. For the first time in her life, Mira understood what beauty meant. She laughed softly and wiped her tears. I can see it," she said. Leo smiled warmly and held her hand. "Take your time. There is no rush. The world is full of colors. You will learn them slowly. Nira nodded. Her heart felt full. The gray world she had known for all her life was changing. She knew that with Leo's help, she could explore the beauty that had been hidden from her. She looked at him with gratitude and whispered, "Thank you for giving me this gift." Leo simply smiled. "It is your gift too, Nira. You just needed a little help to see it." After the first glimpse of red on the flower, Nira felt her heart racing. She had never imagined the world could look so alive. The gray she had known all her life now seemed empty compared to the brightness she was beginning to see. Every petal, every leaf, every ripple of water held a new meaning. She blinked, trying to take it all in, and tears formed in her eyes. Leo smiled gently. "Take your time, Nira. There is no hurry. Look at one thing at a time." Nira nodded and turned toward the riverbank. The water shimmered differently now. Faint hints of blue reflected in the sunlight, and small plants along the edge glowed with green shades she had never imagined. She reached out her hand to touch the grass. The color was soft and alive, and it felt like the world itself was breathing under her fingers. She ran a few steps, wanting to see more. Her eyes caught the bright yellow petals of another flower nearby. She gasped. "Yellow," she whispered, and smiled for the first time in a long while. The other children in the village had begun to notice her excitement. They had seen her struggle with the gray world for years, but now she looked different. She laughed softly, pointing at the flowers, the river, and the sky. Leo watched her closely. "Do you see the sky?" he asked. Nira looked up. Faint blues stretched across the horizon, deepening as the sun moved. She felt a warmth inside her chest. For so long, the sky had seemed dull and flat, but now it looked endless and alive. "I see it," she whispered. "It is beautiful." She turned to the trees, stretching tall above her village. The leaves glimmered with different shades of green. Nira's eyes widened. Every tree was unique. Every branch seemed to shine with life. She touched one, feeling its bark rough against her hand, and smiled. She could feel the color, not just with her eyes, but with her whole body. The villagers gathered quietly around her, watching the change. Some children approached hesitantly. "Can I see too?" one asked. Nira shook her head and said softly, "These are my glasses. They are special." She did not want anyone to take away her new view, but she also wanted to share her joy. Leo knelt beside her. "Colors are different for everyone, Nira. You can see them because your eyes are ready now. Soon, you will know all the names and meanings." Nira listened carefully. She wanted to learn everything. She wanted to understand the red of the flowers, the blue of the river, the green of the trees, and the yellow of the sunlight. The sun began to sink lower in the sky, painting the horizon with warm shades of orange and pink. Nira stared at it, overwhelmed with emotion. The sky seemed alive, moving with light and warmth. She laughed softly and ran toward the village square, pointing at the clouds, the river, and the trees. She felt joy she had never felt before. "Look, Leo," she cried. "Everything is different. I can see everything." Leo nodded, smiling. "Yes, Nira, the world is full of colors. You will discover more every day." She sat by the river and dipped her fingers into the water. The reflections danced with blue and silver. Small fish glimmered under the sunlight with orange and yellow scales. Nira leaned closer and watched them swim, her heart filled with wonder. She realized she had never known the world could feel this alive. For the first time, Nira understood what the elders had tried to explain all her life. The world was not just shapes and gray. It was full of life, beauty, and emotion. She felt grateful to Leo for giving her this gift, but she also felt proud of herself. She had been patient, hopeful, and brave. She had waited for something magical, And now it had come. As the evening came, Nira and Leo sat near the river. Nira touched the grass, the flowers, and the water, smiling at the colors. The village, once dull to her eyes, now looked alive with shades she could finally see. Her heart felt light, and she realized that her life was changing in a way she could never have imagined. Nira whispered softly, more to herself than to anyone else, "I will never see the world the same way again." Leo nodded quietly. He knew this was only the beginning of her journey. The world was waiting for her, full of colors, wonders, and adventures she had never dreamed of. The next morning, Nira woke up with a feeling of excitement she had never known before. The sunlight streamed through her small window, painting her room with soft yellow light. She hurriedly put on her special glasses and ran outside. Everything looked different now. The walls of the houses had subtle shades of brown and orange. The flowers glowed with reds and yellows, and the sky was a clear blue. Nira could hardly believe her eyes. She ran through the village square, pointing at the colors she had never seen before. "Look at the flowers! Look at the sky!" she cried, laughing with pure joy. Some children stopped to watch her, curious about her excitement. One boy, smaller than Nira, stepped closer. "Can you really see colors?" he asked quietly. Nira smiled and nodded. "Yes, I can see everything. The world is so bright and beautiful." Leo walked behind her, carrying a small bag of tools. He smiled as he watched Nira explore. "Take your time, Nira. Notice everything. Colors are not only in flowers in the sky, but in every detail around you." Nira nodded eagerly. She looked at the trees swaying in the morning breeze. The leaves were not just green. Some had yellow edges, and the sunlight made patterns on the ground. She ran toward a tree and touched its bark. Even the gray trunk had brown and gold shades she had never imagined. The villagers began to gather, whispering among themselves. Some were amazed by the glasses Leo had made, while others were curious about the changes in Nira. The elders watched quietly, remembering how Nira had spent so many years in gray. Now, she was alive with energy, running and laughing, pointing at every color she could see. Nira's small friends began to follow her as she ran toward the river. She bent down to look at the water. Tiny fish darted beneath the surface, their scales shimmering with orange, gold, and silver. Nira clapped her hands in delight. "Leo, look! The fish have colors too. They shine." Leo knelt beside her. "Yes, Nira, every part of life has colors. You just needed the right way to see them." She turned her eyes to the flowers growing near the riverbank. Reds, pinks, yellows, and purples glowed in the sunlight. She picked a small bunch and held them in her hands, marveling at their beauty. She wanted to share her joy with everyone, but she also wanted to take a moment to feel the colors herself. Her heart felt full, as if the world had given her a gift she had always deserved. Nira noticed a few children trying to follow her excitement. "Come and see," she called. "The world is beautiful. Look at the sky. Look at the grass." Some of them laughed nervously, but stepped closer. Even without glasses, they could feel her joy. They could see the sunlight reflecting on the river and the shapes of the flowers more clearly, but they could not yet see the colors themselves. Leo suggested, "Why don't we try to make some small glasses for your friends one day?" Nira's eyes sparkled. "Yes, I want them to see too. Everyone should know the colors." She looked around at her village, realizing that the gray world she had known would no longer feel complete. She wanted to bring the gift she had received to others. Nira ran to the edge of the village, looking at the distant hills and the meadows beyond. The grass in the fields had shades of green, and small wildflowers added pinks and purples. Birds flew overhead, their feathers reflecting reds, blues, and yellows in the sunlight. Nira gasped in wonder. She had never known that life could look so full and alive. As the day went on, Nira continued exploring every corner of her village. The walls of houses, the paths between them, the water in the river, and the sky above all of it was alive with colors. She laughed, ran, and jumped in joy. Leo followed her quietly, making sure she did not get tired. By the evening, Nira sat on a small hill, watching the sun slowly sink toward the horizon. The sky glowed with soft orange and pink hues, reflected in the river below. Nira felt a happiness she had never felt before. The world was no longer gray. Every detail, every living thing, and every corner of her village was full of beauty. She knew she would spend her life discovering more. The morning sun rose softly over the village, painting the sky with pale orange and pink colors. Nira woke up with a feeling of excitement she had never felt before. She put on her special glasses and ran outside. Today, she decided she would explore beyond the village. She wanted to see the hills, the meadows, and the forest that Leo had told her about. Leo followed her, carrying a small bag with supplies and his tools. "Are you ready, Nira?" he asked. Nira nodded, her eyes sparkling. "Yes, Leo. I want to see everything beyond the village. I want to know all the colors." The path to the hills was lined with wildflowers and tall grass. Nira ran ahead, her feet brushing against the green grass, feeling the warmth of sunlight on her skin. She looked around in wonder. The grass was not just green, it had shades of yellow and soft brown where the morning sun touched it. Flowers of pink, purple, and blue dotted the fields. Nira bent down to touch one. Its petals felt soft, and the colors were brighter than anything she had seen in the village. Leo smiled as he watched her explore. "The world outside the village is full of surprises," he said. "Every place has its own colors, its own life." Nira nodded eagerly, her heart racing with joy. She ran up a small hill and looked at the forest in the distance. The trees were tall and strong, their leaves glimmering in different shades of green. Patches of sunlight fell through the branches, creating patterns of gold and yellow on the forest floor. As she approached the forest, Nira saw a small stream flowing through the trees. The water sparkled with blue and silver, and tiny fish swam gracefully beneath the surface. She knelt beside the stream and reached into the water. The coolness of it made her giggle, and she watched the colors dance in the sunlight. "Leo, look! The water has colors too. It moves and shines like magic." Leo knelt beside her. "Yes, Nira. The water reflects the sky, the trees, and everything around it. It carries colors in its own way." Nira nodded, feeling as if the world was teaching her secrets she had never known. Every step she took revealed new shades, new beauty, and new life. A group of birds flew overhead, their feathers a mix of red, yellow, and blue. Nira's eyes widened in amazement. She had never seen anything so beautiful in her life. She ran after them, laughing and pointing. "Look at them! Look at their feathers!" The birds circled above, singing in sweet melodies that seemed even brighter because of the colors she could see. Nira's excitement was endless. She ran deeper into the forest, discovering flowers she had never imagined, moss that glowed in green and gold, and sunlight that filtered through the leaves in orange and pink streams. She stopped often to touch the bark of trees, the petals of flowers, and the smooth stones in the stream. Every touch, every glance, felt like discovering a new world. Leo watched her quietly, happy to see her so alive with joy. "Nira, the world is much bigger than your village. There are colors, animals, rivers, and skies waiting for you everywhere," he said. Nira looked at him and nodded. "I want to see it all, Leo. I want to know every color and every place." As the sun climbed higher, the forest seemed to glow around her. Nira sat on a soft patch of moss and looked around. The shadows of the trees were no longer dull. They had hints of purple and blue. Flowers glimmered in every shade of the rainbow. The stream sparkled in gold, silver, and blue. Nira felt her heart fill with happiness. She knew that this was only the beginning of her journey. By midday, she stood on a small hill overlooking the forest and the distant meadows. The colors stretched as far as she could see. Nira took a deep breath and smiled. For the first time in her life, she felt that the world was not just something to live in, it was something to admire, explore, and love. Nira whispered softly, "The world is bigger than I imagined, and it is more beautiful than I ever dreamed." Leo nodded beside her. "Yes, Nira, and there is still so much more to see. This is only the start of your adventure." Nira looked at the forest, the stream, and the distant hills. Her heart raced with joy. She knew that with her glasses, she could discover wonders beyond her village. And for the first time, she felt that life was full of endless possibilities and endless colors. When Nira returned to the village after her journey through the hills and forest, her heart was full of joy. She could not stop thinking about all the colors she had seen. Red and orange sunsets, green forests, golden streams, and bright flowers. Her mind was alive with images she wanted to share. She ran through the village square, calling to her friends. "Come, look! I can see colors. The world is beautiful." Some of the children stopped, curious. They had always seen Nira as quiet and serious, but now she was full of excitement and life. One small boy stepped closer and asked, "Can we see colors too?" Nira shook her head gently. "Not yet. My glasses are special. They are made for me." She smiled, but her eyes sparkled with a new idea. She wanted everyone in her village to feel what she felt. Leo, who had followed her back, noticed the children gathering. He knelt beside Nira. "Maybe one day we can make glasses for them too," he said softly. Nira's eyes widened. "Yes, I want everyone to see the colors. Everyone should know the beauty of the world." Over the next few days, Nira and Leo worked together. Leo carefully explained how the glasses worked, showing Nira the lenses, the wires, and the small tools he used. Nira watched closely, learning every step. "I want to help," she said. "I want to make them too." Leo smiled. "You can help me. You know what it is like to see gray, and you can explain it to the others. That will help them understand the gift of colors." Nira nodded eagerly. She felt proud. She realized that sharing her experience could make others happy, just like she felt when she first saw the red flower. Once the first pair of glasses for another child was ready, Nira called her friend Mira. Mira was small and shy, always following Nira quietly. "Myra, try this," Nira said, placing the glasses carefully on her friend's face. Myra blinked, unsure what to expect. Slowly, her eyes widened. I see colors," she whispered. Mira gasped in delight, pointing at a flower nearby. Its petals glowed bright red and yellow. Nira laughed, clapping her hands. "Yes, you can see. Isn't it wonderful?" One by one, Nira helped her friends try the glasses. Each time, the children gasped, laughed, and pointed at the world around them. The village seemed alive with joy. The flowers, the river, the grass, and the sky, all of it now sparkled with colors they had never imagined. Nira felt her heart swell with happiness. She had given them a gift she had received, and seeing their joy made her feel even more alive. The villagers, watching from a distance, were amazed. They had never seen such excitement in their children. The elders, who had worried for Nira all her life, now smiled with relief and pride. Nira's journey had brought something magical to the village. The gray world that had seemed ordinary was now alive with colors, thanks to the human who had come and the alien girl who had dared to dream. Leo looked at Nira and said softly, "You have done something wonderful. You have not only seen the world in colors, but you have shared it with others. That is very special." Neera smiled, feeling proud and happy. "It is not just me," she said. "It is the world. I want everyone to know it." By the end of the day, most of the children in the village had tried the glasses. Laughter, excitement, and joy filled the air. Flowers glowed in red, yellow, and pink. The rivers sparkled with blue and silver. Even the walls of houses had soft shades of brown and gold in the sunlight. Neera looked around at the village, feeling a deep sense of happiness. She had not only discovered the world of colors for herself, but she had helped others see it too. As the sun began to set, Neera and Leo sat on a small hill overlooking the village. The sky glowed with orange, pink, and purple. Neera leaned against Leo and whispered, "I never imagined the world could be this beautiful. I am so happy I can share it." Leo smiled. "And this is only the beginning. There are many more places, many more colors to discover. The world is waiting for you, Neera." Neera looked at the sky, the village, and the distant hills. Her heart felt full. She knew that her adventure was far from over, and that the gift of seeing and sharing colors would bring joy to many more lives. The morning sun shone brightly as Neera woke up with a feeling of excitement. The world beyond the village had been calling her, and today she felt ready to explore even further. She put on her special glasses and ran outside. The colors of the village greeted her like old friends. The red flowers, green grass, and blue river sparkled under the sunlight. Neera's heart raced. She was ready to discover even greater wonders. Leo followed her, carrying a small bag of supplies. "Where shall we go today?" he asked. Neera looked toward the distant mountains. Their peaks were high, with sunlight glimmering off their rocks. "I want to go to the mountains and see what colors are there," she said eagerly. Leo nodded. "It will be an adventure. Be ready for surprises." The path to the mountains was long and full of life. Neera ran ahead, feeling the cool morning breeze against her skin. The meadows were alive with colors she had never imagined. Wildflowers in purple, pink, and yellow glowed under the sunlight. Small birds flew overhead, their feathers shining with bright reds, blues, and golds. Neera laughed, pointing at them. "Leo, look at the birds. Their feathers shine like jewels." Leo smiled. "Yes, Neera. Every creature has its own colors. You are seeing the world in a way few have ever seen." Neera felt proud. She realized that colors were not just on flowers and trees. They were everywhere, in every living thing and every stone. As they climbed higher, the air grew cooler. The grass and flowers changed shades. Some leaves were a soft orange, some brown, and others deep green. Neera bent down to touch a patch of moss on a rock. It glimmered with green and gold under the sunlight. "This is amazing," she whispered. "I never knew nature had so many colors." Near a small cliff, they found a waterfall flowing into a clear pool. The water sparkled with blue, silver, and gold. Sunlight hit the mist from the waterfall, creating faint rainbows in the air. Neera gasped. She had never seen anything so beautiful. She stepped closer to the water, reaching her hand into the sparkling pool. The cool droplets shimmered in her glasses. "Leo, the water has its own colors. It moves like magic." Leo knelt beside her. Water carries colors from everything around it. Mountains, sky, trees, and sunlight, they all mix in the water. Neera smiled. She felt as if the world was showing her its secret beauty. Every place they went, every step they took, colors seemed to tell a story. Higher up, the mountain flowers were smaller but brighter. Their petals glowed in shades of purple, orange, and pink. Small insects with shimmering wings flew from flower to flower. Neera watched in wonder, leaning close to see every detail. "Leo, everything has colors, even the little insects." Leo nodded. Yes, Nira. Nature is full of life, and colors are part of that life. The more you explore, the more wonders you will find. Nira felt her heart fill with joy. For the first time in her life, she felt that the world was endless, full of secrets waiting to be discovered. As the sun began to sink behind the mountains, Nira and Leo sat on a high rock, looking at the vast valley below. The rivers reflected the sky in blue and silver. Trees glimmered in green and gold. Wildflowers added splashes of red, yellow, and purple. Nira felt her chest swell with happiness. I never imagined the world could be this big and beautiful, Nira whispered. There is so much to see, so much to learn. Leo smiled. And this is only the beginning. There are many more colors, many more places, and many more adventures waiting for you, Nira. Nira looked at the mountains, the forests, and the rivers stretching far into the distance. Her heart was full of wonder and excitement. She realized that the world was no longer gray, dull, or limited. It was alive, and she had the gift to see it in its full beauty. Nira turned to Leo and said softly, I want to keep exploring. I want to discover every color, every place, and every secret of this world. Leo nodded. Then we will. The world is full of wonders, and you are ready to see them all. Nira smiled, feeling hope and excitement for the future. With her glasses, she could see the beauty of the world, and with Leo by her side, she knew every adventure would be full of joy, learning, and endless colors. The morning sun rose gently over the village. Nira woke up feeling a deep happiness she had never felt before. She put on her special glasses and looked around. The village glowed in colors, as if every corner had been painted with care. Red flowers, golden sunlight, green grass, and blue rivers filled her eyes. But Nira knew that the world beyond the village held even greater beauty. Today, she decided she would explore farther than ever before. Leo walked beside her, carrying a small bag of tools. Are you ready for a new adventure? He asked. Nira nodded, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Yes, Leo. I want to see all the colors the world has to offer. The path led them through meadows, forests, and hills. Nira ran ahead, her feet brushing against soft grass. Every flower she passed glowed with colors she had never noticed before. Birds with bright feathers flew overhead. Even the wind seemed to carry colors as it brushed through the trees. Nira laughed and twirled around, her heart full of joy. Leo watched her closely. Nira, today is special. You have learned to see colors, but now you will see how the world changes with time, light, and movement. Nira looked at him curiously. What do you mean? She asked. Leo pointed to a small pond ahead. Watch the water. It reflects the sky, the trees, and the sunlight. Every moment, it looks different. Nira knelt beside the pond and looked into it. The water shimmered with blues, greens, and silver. A fish jumped, sending ripples across the surface. The colors shifted and changed with every movement. Nira gasped. It is alive with colors. She whispered. They continued their journey and reached a hill that overlooked a wide valley. The valley was filled with flowers of every shade: red, pink, purple, yellow, and orange. The rivers sparkled in blue and silver. Trees swayed gently in the wind, their leaves showing every shade of green. Nira could not stop staring. The colors were brighter, deeper, and more beautiful than anything she had seen before. She turned to Leo. The world is more beautiful than I ever imagined. I can see everything now, and it feels like the world is singing. Leo smiled. Yes, Nira. The world is full of life, and colors are part of that life. You have discovered it, and now you can share it with others. Nira thought of the village and the children she had helped. She felt proud that she had given them a gift too. The glasses were special, but the joy they brought was even more important. She knew that every person who saw the world in colors would feel happiness, wonder, and hope. As the sun began to set, Nira and Leo sat on the hill, looking at the horizon. The sky glowed with shades of orange, pink, and purple. The rivers and valleys below reflected the light, creating a world that seemed to shine from within. Nira felt her heart fill with peace. She had waited so long to see this beauty, and now it was hers. "I never imagined the world could feel like this," Nira whispered. "I feel alive in a way I never did before." Leo nodded. "And this is only the beginning. Every day, the world changes, and you will discover new colors and new wonders. Life is full of surprises." Nira smiled and looked around at the valley, the rivers, and the distant mountains. She realized that her life had changed completely. The gray world she had known was gone. Now, every step she took was full of color, joy, and discovery. She felt that the future was bright and endless. Just like the world she could finally see dot as night approached, Nira and Leo returned to the village. The children ran to meet them, eager to see the evening sky. Nira showed them the last colors of the sunset. Everyone watched in awe as the sky glowed in soft oranges and purples. Nira felt proud and happy. She had seen the world, discovered its beauty, and shared it with others. That night, Nira lay in her small bed, holding her special glasses. She thought about the flowers, rivers, mountains, and skies she had seen. She thought about the joy she had shared with her friends. For the first time in her life, Nira felt complete. The world was full of colors, and she belonged to it. She closed her eyes, smiling, knowing that tomorrow would bring new adventures and new wonders to see. Nira whispered softly to herself, "The world is beautiful, and I am part of it." And with that thought, she fell into a peaceful sleep, dreaming of endless colors and endless possibilities.